At my birthday dinner, they told me to be mature and accept a modern arrangement. Instead, I signaled the waiters, who weren't waiters at all. My wife's face drained of color when Chapter 1, the celebration that wasn't. The restaurant was elegant, floor-to-ceiling glass, soft jazz playing, white linen folded like origami on every table. My wife Ellie had planned the whole thing. "It's your 38th. She smiled that morning, curling my tie like she still cared. "Tonight's about you. Let's celebrate big." So, there I was, sitting at a long table, flanked by familiar faces. Veli sat to my right, radiant in red. My older brother Mark, dashing as always, sat across from us, toasting champagne with a smug grin. Around them were friends and family, everyone who mattered. And yet, something felt wrong. It had started months ago. Quiet changes. Veli started locking her phone, staying late at her yoga studio, new perfume, colder eyes. And Mark, he began dropping by unannounced, always just checking in. Too familiar with my fridge, too at ease around Veli. I wasn't stupid, but I needed proof. So, I waited. I played dumb until tonight. As the dessert came out, a triple-layered chocolate mousse with "Happy Birthday, John" scrolled in gold. I saw the shared glances, the awkward energy. Veli raised her glass, and the others followed. "To John," she said, "the kindest, most patient man we know." I raised mine slowly. "Thank you, it means a lot." Then came the part that finally pulled the curtain back. Mark cleared his throat and leaned forward. "John, we've all been talking, and we think it's time for honesty." I narrowed my eyes. "Go on." Veli placed a hand on my arm. "You're a good man, a wonderful man, but you've always been traditional. And love, marriage, it's evolved. Relationships aren't what they used to be." My blood went cold. Mark added, "This might hurt at first, but if you really love Veli, if you truly want her to be happy, you'll accept our new arrangement. We've been seeing each other openly, and we'd like you to be mature about it." I looked around. No one looked shocked. No one looked confused. They all knew. My parents, my friends, her sister, they'd all helped cover it up. "So," Veli continued, "we'd love for you to stay part of the family." But just with open eyes, I set my champagne glass down, quietly, deliberately. Then I smiled and raised one hand just slightly. 3 waiters standing near the kitchen saw my signal. They nodded and began moving, but they weren't waiters, and Elisa's face drained of color when she saw who they really were. Chapter 2. They weren't waiters. The room shifted the second the waiter stepped forward. Gone were their polished service smiles, no notepads, no trays, just sharp suits and harder expressions. One of them, tall, lean, ex-military posture, walked straight toward our table and nodded discreetly at me. "Everything's ready, Mr. Wells," he said. Whispers sparked down the table. Veli sat frozen beside me, her wine glass trembling ever so slightly in her hand. Mark frowned. "What the hell is this?" I looked him dead in the eyes, the smile never leaving my face. "This is the part where you shut up and listen." Veli turned to me, eyes wide now, voice shaking. "John, what is this?" The 3 men fanned out silently. The tall one stepped toward a hidden panel near the corner of the restaurant. A low mechanical hum followed. A projector descended from the ceiling. All eyes turned as the white linen wall behind us flickered to life. "What are you doing?" Mark barked, rising halfway out of his seat. "Sit," I said. "Sharper now. You'll want to see this." The first video clip played. Surveillance footage. Grainy, but clear enough. The lobby of a private hotel downtown, date and time stamped. Mark and Veli entering hand in hand, laughing. Her red coat, his unmistakable smirk. They kissed in the elevator. My mother gasped. The second clip, Mark penthouse. My own wife in lingerie. I'd bought her for our anniversary wrapped around him on the couch. Then the third audio recording. Alyssa's voice. "John's sweet, but let's be honest. He's predictable, passive. He wouldn't know what to do if I left him. He still thinks loyalty matters." Mark's voice, smug and low. "He'll roll over. He always does." The room was dead silent. Veli reached for my arm, like it still belonged to her. "John, please." "I didn't mean it like that," I recoiled. "Don't touch me." Mark stood abruptly. "All right, this is ridiculous. You hired some fake waiters and a few cameras. What's your endgame here?" "Huh. Public shaming." I stood slowly. "No, Mark, not just shaming." I reached into my jacket pocket and tossed an envelope onto the table. It slid perfectly. "To Veli," She opened it with shaking fingers. Inside, divorce papers already signed by me, attached a copy of the prenup hers, and a letter from my lawyer. Due to marital misconduct and public humiliation, all shared assets revert to Jonathan Wells. Velly Walker is entitled to nothing. Her face went white. You planned this, she whispered. This whole dinner. I nodded. Every second. And by the way, those men, not just any waiters, private investigators, licensed. Everything on that screen was obtained legally. I turned to the rest of the table, to everyone else who knew, who covered for them. You can leave now, don't bother calling, we're done. And just like that, the table fell apart. Some stood in shame, others mumbled apologies. No one looked me in the eye. Velly was sobbing now. John, please don't do this. I leaned in, my voice cold and final. You didn't just break my heart, you let everyone laugh behind my back. You watched them humiliate me. But tonight, I got the last word. Then I turned to leave, and behind me, all I heard was silence, the sound of a kingdom collapsing. Chapter 3. The fallout spreads. The headlines hit the next morning. Tech entrepreneur Jonathan Wells exposes wife and brother's affair at birthday dinner. Guests stunned. Billionaire Mark Wells caught in scandal with investors react. Modern love or public betrayal? Viral footage sparks outrage. Someone at the restaurant had leaked the projector footage. I didn't care. Let the world see. By noon, the story was trending. My inbox flooded with messages from acquaintances, colleagues, even journalists begging for a quote. I gave none. I didn't need to speak. My silence was the headline. But Velly, she was unraveling fast. I received a message from her sister, who hadn't known and had walked out of the dinner in tears. She's been calling me nonstop. Says she can't sleep. Keeps saying you set her up, I told her. No, you just exposed the truth. Her Instagram, once full of perfect photos, curated captions, and expensive filters, was now empty, every post deleted, every comment flooded with backlash. Mark, meanwhile, had bigger problems. One of my contacts on the board of his investment firm forwarded me an internal memo. In light of the recent scandal involving Mark Wells and the potential ethical breaches, we are convening an emergency meeting to discuss the future direction of the firm. Translation: he was getting pushed out. I didn't stop it. I didn't push for it either. I just let nature take its course. Turns out the people who once applauded Mark charisma did, and loved the idea of him being reckless with family and money. That evening, Velly showed up at my office, unannounced, tear-stained, pale, hair tangled like she hadn't brushed it in days. I lost everything, John, she said softly. My job, my home, my friends won't return my calls. Mark is ignoring me. He says, I'm the reason he's losing investors. I didn't stand. I simply looked at her and said, so now, you know how it feels. I didn't think you'd go this far, she whispered. You thought I'd roll over, I replied. Like I always did, I made a mistake. No, I said. You made a choice? And so did everyone at that table. You didn't just betray me. You humiliated me, mocked what we built, and expected me to accept it in front of a crowd. She broke, just stood there sobbing. I just want you back, she choked out. Even if we start over with nothing. I shook my head slowly. We already had everything, I said. And you threw it away. She stood there another second, then turned to leave. I didn't stop her, because when someone poisons your life so deeply, you don't chase them. You watch them go. Chapter 4, The Quietest Cut. 2 days passed. Velly was gone, vanished off social media, likely holed up somewhere, nursing her downfall. I heard through a mutual friend that she'd tried moving back in with her parents. They refused. And Mark? Well, Mark finally made his move. I got the email, mid-morning. Short, arrogant, classic, him, subject. Let's not make this ugly. John, I know things got out of hand. I never intended for you to find out the way you did. I love Velly, but I never wanted to hurt you. Let's put this behind us. We're still brothers. We should meet. Talk this out like adults. Mark. I read it once, then, once more. Slower. Still brothers. That was the line that stuck with me. The gall, the lack of remorse. Not a single sorry, not even fake humility. Just a polished hand reaching out from the wreckage he lit himself. I didn't reply. Instead, I sent a message to a lawyer I hadn't spoken to in months, a specialist in corporate restructuring. See, Mark and I didn't just share blood. We shared a legacy. Our late father had left behind a trust, a real estate company. We co-owned 50/50ths. My silence during the scandal had been strategic. But now it was time to pull the final string. Within 48 hours, the legal documents were in place. I bought out his half of the company at a rock-bottom valuation, depressed by the scandal, the investor fallout, and my strategic pause on public support. He had no choice but to sell. His lawyers tried to fight it, but the trust was ironclad. Dad made sure of that. The buyout came with a clause. He was permanently barred from rejoining the board, the firm, or any subsidiaries ever. Mark didn't email after that, but he did try calling once. I let it ring out, then blocked the number. Later that week, I got a message from an old college buddy who'd seen Mark at a networking event. Dude looked like a ghost, said he was taking time to focus on himself. No one would partner with him. Half the room walked away the moment he showed up. I stared at the message for a while, then just smiled because I didn't need to shout. I didn't need to drag him through tabloids. I let his own actions do the talking. And in the end, that quiet surgical removal from everything he valued hurt far more than any explosion ever could. Chapter 5. The walk-away weeks passed, then months, and slowly the storm they created swallowed only them. Veli tried resurfacing with vague apology posts online, carefully worded, attention-seeking captions about growth, forgiveness, and learning to love yourself after trauma. She never named me, but she didn't have to. Everyone knew the comments were brutal. You destroyed a good man. That's your trauma, girl. Sit this one out. Your kind of growth looks like rot. Her follower count dropped by the thousands. She eventually deactivated again. As for Mark, he faded, too. The once invincible Wells brothers legacy had a permanent fracture now, and only one of us was still standing. I rebranded the company under a new name, quietly hired fresh talent, built new partnerships, investors, seeing how cleanly I'd handled everything, respected the hell out of it. We grew faster than ever. The old life, I left it behind. Then one afternoon, almost a year after the birthday dinner, I was walking through the lobby of our new HQ when I saw them. Both of them, Veli and Mark. They hadn't seen me yet. They stood near the front desk, hesitating. Mark, in a wrinkled suit. Veli in an oversized coat like she was trying to hide herself from the world. She looked smaller, diminished. Both of them did. I walked forward calmly. Their heads snapped toward me. Veli stepped forward. John. I held up a hand. No speeches, I said gently. Not here. Not ever again. Mark looked ashamed for once in his life. I lost everything. Man. I didn't think you'd go that far. I gave a half smile. No, Mark. I just stopped protecting you. You did the rest on your own. Veli looked like she wanted to cry. Please, can't we at least talk? Closure. I stepped back and looked them both in the eyes. Calm, composed, untouchable now. I already had closure, I said. It came the day I realized I didn't need revenge, just distance, and now I have both. Then I turned and walked away. Not out of spite, not out of pain, but out of peace. Because I'd already won by healing, rebuilding, and thriving. While they were still stuck chasing the pieces of what they destroyed. Epilogue, I celebrated my next birthday, surrounded by people who truly cared, new friends, trusted partners, a new woman in my life who respected me with quiet strength and unwavering loyalty. No drama, no betrayal, no lies, just a candlelit dinner, laughter that didn't hide secrets, and a future I no longer feared. Because in the end, the most satisfying revenge is living a life they're no longer invited to witness. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Lauren's Story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.